The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning to you here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Chris Burton in today for Alex Fisher, who has the day off. He's taken some vacation, much deserved.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. We begin this morning with developing news. Multiple structure fires were burning throughout Bakersfield last night, and we start with one that destroyed a home in East Bakersfield. Check out this video sent to 17 News by Brandon Barraza. You can see those flames swallowing up a home in the 500 block of Lake Street. The fire started just before 9:30 last night, and according to those on scene, a vacant RV near the home also caught fire. The flames then spread. No word on the cause of the RV fire or whether anyone was injured.
And across town, a workshop in West Bakersfield was destroyed in a different blaze last night. The fire started on Shellabarger Road around 5:45. According to Kern County Fire, flames were showing from the detached shop when they arrived, with thick black smoke coming out of the top of the building. It took firefighters just over an hour to put out those flames. In addition to the structure, 2 vehicles were also destroyed. No word yet on what started the fire.
From our 17th follow-up file this morning, the search continues for 2 men who went missing while swimming in the Kern River. Witnesses say a group was trying to cross the river near the Remington Hot Springs around 12:30 Monday afternoon when 2 men were swept away by the current. Those 2 missing men on your screen now are identified as 19-year-old Samuel Raimundo and 27-year-old Diego Cabo. Family members tell 17 News the men are from Guatemala and currently live in San Fernando. The Kern County Sheriff's Office Air 5 helicopter is helping rescue teams on the ground, but again, the men have not been found as of news time this morning.
And making news around the nation, a former president of Team USA softball has been accused of sex crimes with a Sacramento child. 61-year-old John Gouveia is facing 8 felony counts for his alleged acts. Leanne Denier reports.
Court documents obtained by KCRA 3 outline years of alleged lewd and lascivious acts with a Sacramento child under the age of 14.
There is one victim that we have right now that we're investigating.
The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office is investigating the troubling allegations and asking anyone who knows anything about it to contact them. The investigation so far led to 8 felony counts against 61-year-old John Gouveia.
What's significant about this is that this gentleman was active in the governing council as well as Softball USA throughout his entire adult career for about 30 years.
The documents state the alleged conduct dates back to, at the earliest, September of 2015 and spanned most recently until sometime between September and November of 2021. The child's identity is being concealed. In the paperwork, count 1 alleges Gouveia kissed her body during handstand when the child was 7 or 8. Counts 2 through 8 allege intimate touching spanning years. The sheriff's office says the alleged actions happened in Sacramento County.
Wanted to bring that to light and bring out a booking photo and this person's name to see if that doesn't resonate with somebody in this community.
By email Tuesday, the chief deputy district attorney stated he could not speak about the case, writing, quote, "Our ethical obligations as prosecutors prevent us from commenting on a pending criminal case," end quote. The sheriff's office says the defendant and the victim are not related.
Your time now 5:05. The Food and Drug Administration says it will temporarily suspend an order banning Juul e-cigarettes. The organization said on Twitter that it temporarily suspends the marketing denial order while it conducts further review, but does not rescind the ban. Last month, the company was ordered to pull its electronic cigarettes from the market, citing a lack of data and evidence to assess their potential health risks. In order to remain on the market, the company must prove that their e-cigarettes help adult smokers who use them to quit or reduce their smoking, while teens are unlikely to get hooked on them. Juul said it has submitted enough information and data to address all issues raised.
5:06 now, and to the latest in coronavirus news. COVID-19 was the 3rd leading cause of death for adults ages 45 to 54 in the U.S. last year, according to a new analysis by researchers at the National Cancer Institute. Heart disease was the #1 cause of death for the age group, followed by cancer. They also found that COVID-19 was one of the top 5 causes of death during this period in every age group 15 and older. Researchers also believe that the pandemic had an indirect effect on other causes of death, such as heart disease, stroke, Alzheimer's, and diabetes. Experts say that could be because people were hesitant to seek medical care for fear of contracting COVID-19. This comes as 2/3 of California's counties, including Kern County, are now in the high COVID community transmission level.
5:07 your time now, and Bakersfield College is holding 4 express enrollments events to help new or returning students with enrolling for the fall semester, applying for financial aid, or creating an education plan. The virtual events are intended for students to handle the process in one day. And starting today, the express enrollments will be held every other Wednesday from 12 until 5 p.m. For more information or to sign up, you can visit bakersfieldcollege.edu/registrationrocks.
And the Kern Community Foundation is accepting applications for the City of Bakersfield's 2022-23 Youth Jobs Program City Hall Fellowship. The fellowship program is an 11-month paid fellowship. Eligible participants must be at least 18 by September 6th and no older than 30 by August 6th, 2023.
Well, we are learning new details this morning about the suspect in the Highland Park mass shooting on July 4th. Police say the 21-year-old suspect has been charged with 7 counts of first-degree murder. NBC's Bree Jackson is in Washington with the latest.
Vice President Harris visiting the scene of the Highland Park mass shooting.
We talk about it being senseless. It is senseless. It is absolutely senseless.
At least 7 people were killed and dozens more injured after a lone gunman fired more than 70 rounds into a crowd during this July 4th parade. Police say 21-year-old Robert Cremo III legally purchased multiple weapons, including the high-powered rifle used.
There is no reason that we have weapons of war on the streets of America. We need reasonable gun safety laws.
Officers call it a pre-planned attack. Evidence shows Cremo disguised himself as a woman to escape.
And investigators do believe he did this to conceal his facial tattoos and his identity.
Investigators also revealing several years ago, law enforcement responded to a threat at his home.
The police removed 16 knives, a dagger, and a sword from Cremo's home.
Other signs of trouble found on social media, where the suspect recently posted music videos referencing mass murder. Some who knew him say he was interested in weapons, but they did not imagine something like this.
I could not see him doing that. I think that I have gone to school for 13 years with somebody that's capable of mass murder. It makes no sense to me.
The White House promising to stand by another community as it tries to heal from gun violence. Prosecutors say more charges related to each of the shooting victims are expected, including attempted murder and aggravated battery. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
Also making news around the nation, a Georgia grand jury has subpoenaed attorney Rudy Giuliani and Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina as part of its investigation into criminal interference by former President Trump in the state's 2020 election. A copy of the subpoena to Giuliani says he appeared before the Georgia State Senate after the election, claiming there was widespread voter fraud in Georgia. The subpoena to Senator Graham says he made at least 2 calls to Georgia's Secretary of State after the election about re-examining certain absentee ballots in Georgia. The subpoenas say the witnesses must testify between July 12th and August 31st.
5:33 your time now, and California voters will weigh in on 7 ballot initiatives this November. We'll take you through a brief overview of those initiatives. The first asks voters to amend the state constitution to guarantee the right to choose abortion and contraception. Proposition 26 allows federally recognized Native American tribes to operate sports betting, plus roulette and dice games on tribal lands. Prop 27 would legalize online and mobile sports wagering. Proposition 28 would provide additional funding for arts and music education in all K-12 public schools. For the third time, voters will be asked to weigh in on another attempt to regulate dialysis providers with Proposition 29, and Proposition 30 would boost funding for infrastructure for zero-emission vehicles, including incentives for consumers. Proposition 31 aims to halt a state law from going into effect that bans the retail sale of some flavored tobacco products.
17 Homicide Tracker now, and we're learning more about a shooting we first told you about yesterday here on Sunrise. It left one woman dead and 2 other people wounded. The Bakersfield Police Department says it happened shortly after 11 p.m. on the 4th of July near Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and East 10th Street. The coroner identified the woman who was murdered as 48-year-old Susanna Ortiz of Bakersfield. Police say another woman who was shot is stable in the hospital, and a teenage boy received non-life-threatening wounds. No arrests have been made. If you know anything about this shooting, you're asked to call police at 327-7111.
A man accused of street racing and causing a crash that killed a local 19-year-old woman will be back in court today. The crash happened on Panama Lane on February 2nd. Investigators say Iqbal Singh was driving his Mustang faster than 90 miles per hour, racing with a motorcycle when Singh crashed head-on with another car, killing 19-year-old Bianca Flores. Singh has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder, among other charges. His case is set for a pre-preliminary hearing today.
The fireworks have cleared, but for some, their aftermath remains. Professional fireworks displays were vastly outnumbered by illegal fireworks this year, leading to citations, fires, and burn injuries. Kern County Fire says residents made more than 4,000 reports of illegal fireworks with a new online reporting system. The Grossman Burn Center at Memorial Hospital says they treated 9 people for fireworks-related injuries.
And every year, our local animal shelters see a spike in the number of lost pets due to 4th of July fireworks. Well, yesterday, the Bakersfield Animal Care Center told us they had already received 13 of those lost pets. Kern County Animal Services has taken in nearly 50 animals, including 31 dogs and 18 cats. Staff members from both shelters say they expect those numbers to grow. If you're missing your pet, experts say you should check repeatedly with local animal shelters.
And then ahead of time, the key is just making sure they are microchipped.
Yes.
And that they have up-to-date information. And if you have like a microchip from a past address, you need to update that information, and also make sure they're wearing it on them in a collar.
So important, so that the shelters can, call you or get in touch with you, because otherwise, like they said, you might not know.
Absolutely.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.